We're going to record. Welcome, everyone, for another episode of Hangout with Mentors. We come together every Wednesday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on purpose with some sort of value-based topic to help you run your business more effectively. It's usually something that you can directly put into action. We don't talk a lot about our compensation plan or the products. It's top tier, direct member to member products. And who are we? We are the Unstoppable Alliance. We're a group of people who come together on purpose, creating a safe learning environment, a place where everyone knows your name. You kind of feel comfy, almost like it's at home. And you can earn while you learn. I think I've pretty much covered everything there. Tonight's topic, it's an important one. It's an important one. I'm going to give you some statistics to how important it is too. And it's the magic of the follow-up. And it is magic because that's where your profits come. If you're not following up, you're leaving 90% of your sales. You're walking away from 90% or maybe even more of your sales if you're not following up. That's really how much it is. And a lot of what we're going to talk about, and Joe is going to specifically get into this about how to follow up and what the follow-up is. And that's a big part of how we follow up is how we are humanizing digital marketing. So your lead generation might be through digital means. It may or may not be, but if it is, you immediately need to humanize it. You need to reach out, you need to connect, you need to follow up and get in touch with that person. And that's what you need to do. So I'm just going to go over the stats really quickly and then over to you, Joe. So 48% of salespeople or people in sales are not ever following up with a prospect, just depending on the system maybe. And I mean, the system works and the process works, but you need to put your humanness into it. 25% of salespeople make a second contact and then stop. 12% of salespeople only make 3 contacts and then stop. 10%, only 10% make more than those 3 contacts. And here's where the coin kind of flips. 2% of sales are made on the first contact, just 2%. 3% are made on the second contact, 5 on the third contact, 10 on the fourth, and 80% of the sales are made on the 5th to the 12th contact. So do you think it's important? Do you think it's important to connect, to follow up, and to build relationships? And I want to say this one last point before we go over to Joe. If you are one of our Unstoppable Alliance members, and if you have AMP, Alliance Marketing Pro, have you gone through the invite section, which specifically has a section on follow-up? Have you gone through that? And if you're an Unstoppable Alliance member and you don't have AMP, how come? Over to you, Joel. Why not?
That's good. Why not?
All right. Well, let me just, if I may, I just want to go back just a little bit. Okay. I just want to roll it back. You know, something really cool is happening with Unstoppable Alliance. If you're paying attention, you're listening to our radio shows, our training calls, you're going to see that there are people who have been around our industry for many, many, many years. I'm talking 20-year professionals, people who have fed their family, they travel the world, and they live a life of freedom and choice in the top tier in our industry. They go back before the internet. And now they're here because they see something here that is really, really cool. You see, the Unstoppable Alliance is not internet marketing. We are not internet marketers. We market our products on the internet. Okay, we use the internet as a marketing means. We use unbelievably cool sales funnels. We know how to drive traffic through the sales funnels. We know how to encourage people to get the information. We deliver the product online. Okay, that's it. E-learning, digital education. But we're not internet marketing per se. We market on the internet, but we are real people humanizing the digital experience. That's really what we are. And that's why you see people who have 20, 25 years experience in this space coming here because they see something that is fundamentally sound. I want you to understand that. I want you to really consider what it is we do for a living. You know, people come to the Unstoppable Alliance and they see these big numbers. In honor of what you said, Susan, I'm not going to tell you the numbers. You can find us online. You can find out what the numbers are, and they're big. This is executive level income. But really, this is about something else. Okay, this is about a community of people who come together. This is really about something more than just the money. And you have people who are coming here because they see that. They see fundamentally that this is a sound business, a sound program. And this concept of humanizing the digital realm is what is the difference maker. It's not really about the money. The money is great, but it's the human contact. So I just wanted to put that out there so you guys understand really what you're in for and what this is about. You know, there's a guy out there in the world, and I'll say his name. His name is Jeremy Miner. I personally know Jeremy Miner. I have known him forever. I was there at the very beginning when he started his journey. Today, he's famous. You see him all over Facebook. He's promoting his stuff everywhere. And the guy's amazing, and he is a 7-figure earner. I know for a fact. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. I saw my own bank account. This guy was capable of 100 grand a week on some weeks. This is a 7-figure earner for real. And right now in his mentoring programs, he's teaching people how to make the call. Here's one of the most famous guys out there right now who's relying on the telephone because that's where the money is really made. One day when I first saw Jeremy Miner talking on stage, we were together in Australia actually, and he told the story. And it was a 3-step program. Okay, the program that he joined was very, very similar to what we're doing with Unstoppable Alliance. It was 3 fundamental steps. And I remember he said, I was online looking for a business forever. I was opting into every single sales funnel and every site that I saw, every one. And then suddenly a guy called me back. He was like, someone called me back. And he got started with that someone, and that someone, I know who he is. His name is Lehman. Lehman made 7 figures because he called Jeremy Miner back. And so my point of bringing this up to the table, I want you guys to understand, because we do live in this internet world. Many of you right now are watching this on YouTube or some other video. This is just how we tell the story, but this is really a people business. So when we talk about the fortune is in the follow-up, you know, unless you make the call, there is no follow-up. So you're going to have to start the process by connecting with somebody. Someone opts in, and this is our 3-step process. What do? What we do for a living are 3 things. We generate a lead, we invite somebody to hear the story, and then we collect their decision. That's what we do. The second step is connecting, okay, inviting. And we have a lot of training. Susan mentioned in our Alliance Marketing Pro, there's training that covers that specific topic, calling back people, you know, inviting people. But unless you make the first phone call, there's no one to call back. Our business is a fundamentally sound sales business. And if you don't want to be in sales, I got news for you. You are. Did you go through a drive-through today? Did you drive through a Starbucks? Did you order? That was sales. That was influence. You ever have a teenage kid living in your house and you want them to go to bed or get up to go to school? You're a salesperson if you're effective at that. You know, it's honorable. It's a good thing that we do. And people recoil, oh, I want to be in internet marketing. I don't want to talk to people. Well, I got news for you. I know who the internet marketers are. I have spent some time in that realm. I remember way back at the beginning of internet marketing, I wanted to become one of these, you know, these push button giants, you know, one of these just point and click and make all this money. Way early on, I'm talking like 2003, 2004. I remember opting into one of these, you know, this is how you're going to make money on the internet deals. And it was, I was selling a product on the internet and I was going to build a list. And then all of a sudden I started getting phone calls from the people who are selling me the internet marketing tools. Every time the phone's like, hey, Joe, you know, we saw that you bought that thing and you're learning how to, you know, revolutionize and monetize your list, but we got something else. There's a new bell and whistle and you got to have this thing. And if you plug this into your site, this is going to make the difference. And then a week later, I'd get a phone call. Remember the thing we were talking about last week, Joe? We got something else. I was in this cycle, right? And I actually said this. I said one time to somebody who was calling me on the phone, I said, listen, man, I bought A and I bought B and I bought C from you, and you just keep calling me up to sell me stuff. Could you introduce me to one person who's making the kind of money that you're talking about by marketing stuff on the internet? You know, are you guys in the business of teaching me or just selling me stuff? And the person said, sounds like you got to figure it out, Joe. Good luck, and hung up. And that's a true story. I know who these internet marketers are, man. I've been in that arena. And I want you guys to know the only people who really make money in those internet marketing plays, I'm talking 20 bucks, $47, $3 a month. The only people who make the livable wage are the people who introduce those programs. Those are the only ones. Unless, of course, you are well-heeled, unless you could dump in $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 into a lead generation plan to drive that animal. That is the truth, and that's what you're always going to get at the Unstoppable Alliance is the truth. This is a workers program, and if you're willing to do the work, it only takes three people coming through your sales funnel and saying yes to you on any given day, week, or month, and that will put you in the seven-figure zone, and that's for real. I'm not going to go into the details of the money and how the money is, what the dollars are. You can find out more about that. And before I pass it back to you, Susan, I wanted to lay this foundation. There's one more thing. Okay, Susan said the stats. 48% of us don't follow up. Us. Okay, I'm a salesperson. 48 don't. 25% second contact. 12% third contact. 10% of the people, that's it, are making more than 3. And 80% of the sales are being made beyond the 5th contact. How about that, right? And here's the cool thing. Yes, you have to contact people. You have to stay in touch with them. But we're not telling you to pick up the telephone and talk to somebody 12 times. We're not talking about hounding people, calling them with commission breath. We're not talking about just like scattering people with telephone calls. We're talking about exposing them to what we are, what our community does. And our community has 18 opportunities a week. 18 a week, Monday through Friday. We have a daily Get Start Your Day radio show. So you can be connecting with your people. You can be following up with your people. Yes, we're going to talk today about picking up the telephone, making that telephone call. But it's much more subtle and easy than that. It really is. Because we do have the power of the internet and email and all of these other technology tools where we can continue to communicate and drip and send a message to our people that will cover, okay, those 5, 8 contacts, right? If you got to contact somebody 5 times to promote your business, to promote your Unstoppable Alliance, maybe you make 1 phone call, and maybe you send them to a radio show, and then you send them to a tool like we're using here tonight. Or maybe you send them to one of our other opportunity calls, or the Monday night call, which is amazing, where you hear people from around the world having real results in real time. Those are the follow-ups that we're going to talk about here this evening. So again, this is a workers program. It may look like internet marketing, but it really isn't. We deliver the information, we attract people on the internet, but ours is a people business. And when you get comfortable with that and you're able to do that, and we have this community support, man, you write your own paycheck. You know, I was talking to Susan earlier today about this extreme sense of calm that has come over me. Okay, here with the Unstoppable, I've got this sense of just knowing. And I know what we have here. I know what our community is capable of doing. I know the numbers that we are going to achieve. I just know. And it's giving me a tremendous sense of calm and peace, because these simple fundamentals that we teach, anyone can learn them. They're very simple. But are they easy? No, they're not easy, because it's going to require some discipline and getting out of your comfort zone and picking up that telephone call and then making that follow-up call, because the fortune is in the follow-up. Susan, I've already taken 10 minutes of your 60 minutes, so I'll yield the floor back to you. Thanks for allowing me to open up our discussion here tonight, and that's I'll sit back here and wait until I'm invited again.
Thank you so much. That was actually awesome. That was powerful. Appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was really great. I would like to focus on 2 points that you said there, and highlighting again those stats that I said. Can you imagine? I would like everyone to just think about that. So if 80% of the sales are being made by the 10% of the people that are doing what you need to do, just doing it, the follow-up, isn't that interesting? And who is in control of that? Who can change that? Each one of you, right? That's in our control. It's just do it. Just follow up. It's as simple as that. And you can change those numbers. That's all it is. So I wanted to point out that. And then the other thing that Joe very much described is you don't have to get on the phone with, what did you call it? Commission breath?
Commission breath.
Really? I love that. So you don't have to be all salesy on the phone, because we have, well, events such as like this. You invite them. We give you the content, we give you the value, we give you the copy, the even images, everything. All you have to do is invite them. That's it. You're building a relationship and you're inviting them to learn something. You're inviting them to some dynamic, sometimes hilarious conversations. Sometimes they're all woo woo. Sometimes they're a whole lot of love, all lovey dovey, but you just have to invite them, build a relationship and invite them. So you can change those statistics and make it different, right? It's all up to you. Tammy, what do you have to say on the topic of follow up?
A lot. A lot. I have a whole page of notes, okay? So follow up is so vitally important. In fact, the people or the person that does the most follow-ups will have the most people that join them. That's a fact. And the thing about it is there's pros and cons of follow-ups. And let me just explain. In fact, today was probably, I wanted to prove a point. It was the most calls I've made in a day of people that have actually requested information from myself and Susan. And it was just like boom, boom, boom. I mean, I literally sat, and I made sure that I sat my butt here instead of running around the beach or something like that. I told Susan, I'm on a goal. It's been a day, you know what I mean? And I placed 30 phone calls of people requesting information from us. There's a difference. There's a big difference the way we teach and train here. People are coming to us. It's attraction marketing. This is what I love about the mentors that myself and Susan have had. Is we're now teaching it to other people. Attraction marketing, meaning that they've requested information. They see what we have here. They're going through these events. And then they're leaving messages or they're leaving, either a callback request or something like that. So what we do is we go back like different months. And in fact, when I came down here to North Carolina, I brought a whole stack of people that last year went through our sales funnel. I keep track in paper form because that's just how I am. When I was a mortgage broker, I lost this one database one time because the computer system went down. So maybe it's just old-fashioned, that's how I am. But I keep track of people on paper. So I have that, and then we have the AMP, okay? So we follow up with the people on AMP. And there's, when I say there's pros and cons of following up, like Joey says, you don't want to, have commission breath. That's pretty cool. I'm going to start using that now. You want to just simply ask them, hey, have you taken a look at what we have? And it can be a simple conversation, So you can email them, you can text them. You can send them a note by a pigeon. No, I'm just kidding. You can do a live stream, you can do a lot of different things, but follow up is really important. And Dan Kennedy taught me one thing. He's like, you know what? You can follow up with that person because they gave you permission. They entered their information into the page, not you. You didn't do that. They did that. So sometimes you have to just kind of remind them, sometimes we don't even remember what we did a week ago, let alone, you know what I mean? So you just simply remind them and they're like, oh yeah, like I've had several people today, they call me, oh yeah, that's right. And then a text, oh yeah, I'm still looking for a way to make some money, And then these events help you build that relationship and then voila, you get more team members. So in my opinion, I think the people that do the most follow-up are the ones that are going to make the most money, bottom line. And they're not going to be, Dan Kennedy, going back to Dan Kennedy, he said there's going to be some hyper-responsive buyers. So you will have some hyper-responsive buyers with some of our lead generation methods. In other words, there's going to be some people that purchase right away. Then there's going to be some people that are watching and looking around. And I think I heard, I can't remember what call it was. I think it was on your radio show today, Joey. Sometimes it takes 9 months for someone to join, but you're building a list. So as you're learning and earning, you're able to, get more and more people onto your database. And then, heck, we've had people that joined us from a year ago that just recently joined. So, but then we have people that joined this week. So it just depends. You just got to keep filling that pipeline. It's exactly what we used to teach our mortgage brokers when we had 22 employees. It's like any sales force. This is no different. Like Joey said, McDonald's is selling hamburgers. I mean, so you got to understand, it's a process. You got to make sure your follow-ups are good and your email series is good. And hey, we have that in place for you. You know what I mean? I think the last point is I definitely agree with that 80% after the 5th time. I really do believe that. Again, and like I said, you can have those email series. I usually send out an email every day over and above the email series. And I try to get my engagement, so we'll do some different testing with emails, but we love email marketing. That's our kind of our strategy is email marketing. They still say that that's number one way to connect with people. So that's what I had tonight, Susan.
Thank you.
I love that subject.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Rob, what are your thoughts on this topic?
Well, I have a whole lot of thoughts on it.
Uh-oh.
The first part is the old saying, the fortune is in the follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
And the part that I would want to start with is the whole humanizing the digital experience. I mean, what a cool little saying to come up with. It's short, it's concise, and it really says the whole thing is, no, it's not like a little dealy bobber where you're going to pay $27 and you're not going to talk to somebody. And by the way, I helped start what should have been a phenomenal, huge network marketing company in the travel space that was $21 a month originally. It's called My Fun Life. And it was going to be the greatest thing ever. I did all this kind of stuff for it.
I remember that one.
Okay, I was a VP of marketing and that. It was going to be a great idea. I love travel. It's awesome. So I had about 65,000 people in my organization. It's in a matrix. I hate matrices, by the way, because the whole idea that you're going to get spillover and you're not going to, and you ain't. I made like $3,500. And so to edify, the booster was $3,500 a month after I worked, I don't know how many, 50 hours a week for like several months to build the back office and all that kind of stuff and to put all these people in. And I had some great, phenomenal people. Who doesn't join something like that? The owner made a lot of money, Joe, of course. And I had a great spot too, but I'm done with my rant. I don't like little bitty programs because I like to work with people that want to work. And there's just no skin in the game at $21, $37, $57. I like this specific niche of this industry because I get to deal in a lot more consultative manner with people that are serious, that are they come to the table to learn, they come to the table to make something happen, and we can develop a relationship. And so I like to deal with those kind of people. I mean, my heart goes out to everybody, but I want to work with people that are serious. So on the matter of follow-up, the fortune is in the follow-up. So this is personalizing the whole digital experience. And so people get caught up a little bit in, well, what would I say? What would I say? So the first thing I would always say to bear in mind, even if if you've just been in the business for, a week or 3 or 4 days, you're like, oh God, it's going to, freak me out, is number one, whoever it is that you're going to call, they have no idea like what you're supposed to say. Okay. Nobody's ever going to tell you did it wrong or something like that. It doesn't happen. But even to take a step back beyond the fact that they're not going to tell you, oh, that's not right. You didn't say such and such to me. First of all, we're going to have a conversation. But the main thing is that they knocked on your door. Okay. They came to you and said, yeah, I'm open to making money. However the marketing happened, whether it was a ringless voicemail, predictive dialing, whatever it was, somehow or another, a question was asked that they said that, hey, do you want to make some money? However the question was asked, and they said, yeah, I'm sure. What do you got? So with that, it's an invitation. And so the key words for me that I tell everybody is when you're going to follow up with somebody, the only thing you really need to memorize is, or just get it down in your mind, is I'm getting back to you. I'm getting back to you. So it's not a salesperson. Yes, we're salespeople. Everybody, if you're married, you ever had a girlfriend or a boyfriend, of course, we're all salespeople. Put it on the table. But I don't chase anybody at all. If I feel like I'm chasing somebody, click goodbye. I just never want to even be in that kind of a thing like, oh, where I mentally am thinking like, oh, I don't do that at all. And I think that people don't want to be chased either. If they sense that you're chasing them or that you're desperate for that thing and you got to have it, it turns them off. Really, really does. It's kind of like, I would say, although I've been out of the game for, about 20 years, been married about 18 years now, it's kind of like dating. If you're too you know, they think that they smell you're some kind of desperate or something like that. It's a turnoff completely. So number one is that you hold all of the cards. Number two, they knocked on your door. They were the one that was actually asking for the information. Number three, they're not going to have any idea about what it is that you're going to, you know, say. You know, they're not going to tell you that it's wrong. And then really it comes down to actually having some kind of a conversation with them to find out a little bit more about them. It doesn't have to be like something like, oh God, like, what am I going to say now? Or how I remember all this kind of stuff. It's really just as easy as like, so, you know, hey, I'll be happy. They always want information. Everybody is always like Columbo, okay? They're like some kind of detective. And so you tell them, hey, I'm just getting back to you to get you some information. I wanted to follow up. I saw you, you know, you left a message or whatever it was. I'm getting back to get you some information. Okay. And then, you know, maybe you give them a little snippet, but then you'll say, but, you know, before I tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do for work? I always like to know that. What do you do for work? You know, why are you looking, and how much do you want to make? These are three kind of questions. I weave it into a conversation, but sometimes I'll tell them, hey, I have three questions for you. I'd just like to know, you know, these kind of things. So if you haven't made a sale, you're brand new, or you're thinking, I don't know, you spent how much ever time it is to investigate to get to the spot where you made a decision and you got started. So you're miles in front of somebody that's actually just looking right now. And then really the last piece that I would close other than having some kind of, you know, the mindset and stuff like that is, I feel like you just got to reach out and touch them, okay? Most of the time when you're calling people back, you're going to get voicemail, you know, and a lot of times you call people, even though they ask for information, they're probably not going to call you back. For me, I call people twice, and on the second message, I usually tell them, hey, maybe I forgot, because I like to take the pressure off. Hey, I'm sorry if this is my first message, really, but I think I left you another message. I do it on purpose, by the way. I think I left you another message, but anyhow, I'm not going to call you back anymore. You'll be getting an email from me. You're on my list. You have my phone number. You have my information. And so give a call back. If you actually want to make some money, then, you know, give me a call back. Here's my number again. But this is the last time that I'm going to call you. So I like to kind of tell people that, to posture a little bit in that kind of regard. And but the main thing is they just need to be touched. They need to be contacted. And I had a very large company, or a pretty decent sized company, where we had somebody else that did our phone calls. And I know that's definitely not what we're talking about here, because we teach this simple skill. But just the whole idea that some person is going to contact them and acknowledge the fact that they went into the website. I follow up with everybody. I text everybody. I put them on the radio shows all the time. Joe's heard me say that a million times. I've Skyped him, said, hey man, you help me bring another person in. You know, I don't know, in the morning I sit there and I text people, I'm getting on. So, you know, call them a couple times. I might text them a bunch or whatever. If they reply back to me, then I interact with them. And that's kind of how I like to do things.
Wow, that was awesome. That was absolutely awesome. Rob, thank you. Thank you for the details and really giving them some ideas and strategies. That was absolutely awesome. And on the topic, Deanne has a question. So I'm going to read her question. She's got some numbers in there. So let's read it and discuss it. So warm qualified leads, out of approximately 8, 2 have watched the capture link. 1 of 2 decided not to join. The other one has not replied to my 4th follow-up and call message. Of the 6 that I have called, left a message, then I sent them the live presentation calls for Titan. As these 6 people have not watched the capture video. My question is this: what do I need to do for the last 6 follows? They each have received a minimum of 4 follow-ups. Which is better to send them? Titan or Pure Profit Pro, live presentations, or both? Oh, you're still muted, Joe.
I would send them into the Netherlands. If you have the people that you've talked to 4 times or you've pursued them, I would say it's time to move on. Those people have told you they're not interested by their lack of interest. And if you had 2 people out of 6, I can't remember the beginning of the formula, that's awesome. Remember what we said. 3 people out of 100. Okay, 3 people out of 100 really is what you're looking for, give or take. Now, I know there are people who are a little bit more sophisticated and experienced, and they can get that to 5 out of 100, right? And that's true. But whoever it is that asked the question, you're frustrating yourself right now. This is a very critical time for you, because this is frustration. If you listen to the radio shows and you listen to some of the leaders, they talk about managing the emotional roller coaster. Managing the emotional roller coaster. You're only looking for those 3, and the people you've called 4 times, they've given you their answer. Their answer is they're not interested. So let it go, start afresh tomorrow, and run some traffic. That would be my.
Get more leads that would be my answer. Get more leads.
And then
you gotta have lead prosperity.
The other thing to further on to that, so immediately those 4 follow-ups, that's great. That is so awesome. But sometimes what happens with people like that is make sure that they are on your list that you will send out broadcast emails to, etc. Because those kind of people, so they may not be interested now, or they may just be unsure. They may just not want to respond. Who knows? They own that. But here's the thing: when you send them broadcast emails, or you might send them a video of some value that might trigger something else that they need to know at the time. You don't really know yet what they need because they haven't responded. But along the way, as Tammy mentioned, sometimes 9 months or a year down the road, if they're still on your list, which is the power of building a list. It's not meant like necessarily to hammer at people. It's just you're dripping information on them. You're dripping value. And in between that time, you're also growing. And you're sharing, hopefully, you're sharing some of that growth, some of what's happening, not even with your own growth, but the growth of the community. And there might be a piece in there that might interest them or trigger them to make a decision. But just release that. So don't be attached to that outcome, especially after 4 follow-ups. So
Right.
That's how I would just kind of add to that. And maybe you've gone through the video boot camp, and maybe you're recording some really great videos that are leaving an impact. Maybe you're sharing pieces of your story, and there might be a piece somewhere along there that might trigger some sort of interest. And if not, move on and carry on, keep filling your pipeline. That's what I would say. Anybody else want to add something to that? Or Gregory, are you ready to talk about the whole topic?
Sure. Well, all right. I'll go. Thank you. I'll go back to what you're asking the other panelists. But with that great question is, Joe, great answer. Just said you're frustrating yourself, or words that you use. But, you know, I know we're talking about the follow-up process, but that also speaks to the whole posture process in the beginning. So since that question was brought up, you know, I want to just kind of go back to that, you know, the whole beginning part. You know, in order to paint that picture of the follow-up, I have to kind of paint the portrait of who it is I'm following up with. And for all of us here, you know, we'll all pretty much agree, we're following up with people that have, as we've all stated in different ways, have knocked on our door, have filled out our thing, but basically have come to us saying they want something. We've got the goose, they want some juice, you know, that kind of thing. So with that, what I do is, and I love that, you know, like Rob said, you have to touch them. That's it. That's really the spark. That's where it all happens. So when you make that connection, and finding out, like we always talk about, what their pain is or what it is that they want to, you know, what ceiling they want to break through, or whatever, what is their goal, what's their why, then I'll really engage with them, and also let them know that it's possible to stay tuned, to, you know, watch other people that are do what the leaders do. You'll have what the leaders have, but have them stay really close to their why and to their purpose of why, what would make them cross into this different realm to try to do this. And so with that in mind, I realized that I'm just going to go out there and just kind of say the matrix, we call the 9 to 5ers matrix mentality. We just do because we know we took whichever pill it is, the blue pill, and realized that it's not the American dream is just not what it was 50 years ago. And so people who are putting themselves through agony, we see that there is a way better way. So we know we have that feeling, but we also know that people are still conditioned to think and operate in a certain way. So I realize that even though we're giving them a solution and we're showing them a better way, I feel that through a form of I'm trying to think, Jeffrey Combs, what's that word he uses? You're I don't know the word, but I use it. Is your posturing is okay. This is what you want. This is what we have. We can help you, but we can put it in front of you, but only you can eat. Only you can do the thing. So I'm conditioning them to take responsibility. And I love it when Jason says something like, "You move, I'll move. You move, but I'll never make like 3 moves." I forgot how he says it, but that's pretty much what I instill into them in the beginning. And I'll make them pretty much come to me with promising me that they're very serious. And if everything that we say that we have here is real, you got to keep coming to me, because I say you can't push a rope nor would you want to. Jason calls it pushing a wet noodle, but that's the whole idea. And everybody else has also said that if they're not calling you back at a certain time, there's that. But I also know that we have to help recondition them, change their habits, if you will. And I'm going to, like fading into a new picture, I'm going to work a little bit harder, a little bit in the front end, but then I'm going to establish something in the first 3 to 4 calls, but then I'm going to shift the responsibility and the onus onto them. And I'm going to let them know that now they are the ones, and I'm going to be actually fading away. I'm going to be slipping backwards a little bit. And it's the whole premise it's like this. This is how it goes. Like you go, like what was that desperation thing? It's like that, and you go like this, and it goes like that. So chasing anything is no bueno. But just knowing through confidence, we all know it, we have it, and just that'll exude through your pores, through your confidence, through everything. That hey, I have something for you, and I'm leading with that now. So as far as the follow-up goes, if we just do it, if we do just make those calls, it's not the 80-20, or it's like the 80-10 according to those statistics. That you just pick the phone up and you keep a consistent, whatever your process is, consistent process through the follow-up. That is where that's where the popcorn, it might be, and if you're doing it consistently, like you said, one might be 9 months and one, you'll always have somebody landing in. If you're consistently doing this, right, it'll all just start popping in. So that's, exactly. That's pretty much, as Tammy would say, that's my ditty.
That's awesome. I love that.
I like your ditty, Greg.
Thanks,
good.
Tammy.
Yeah.
always like your ditties.
Thanks.
And here's another.
Sorry, he reminded me of something in that follow-up. Okay. Seriously. I'm sorry, but the 3-way. So if you're, when I'm doing my follow-ups and that person's like, yeah, I just want to hear from one other person, right, and then I'm like, Skype, Bing, you know what I mean? Like, right. So within that follow-up process, and it's hard to project exactly what each person does, right? We all have different styles, right? Obviously on here. So it's kind of hard to really, if someone were to look over your shoulder, and that's kind of what I was trying to do in Myrtle Beach, so that they could kind of see, as the whole process goes here. But I don't know, something triggered in me, Greg, when you were talking. I'm like, you know what? I bet you at some point in your follow-up process, you're getting another person on the line, right?
For sure.
Okay.
And thanks for bringing that up, because I was just being general, but you drill down into the specifics. Mm-hmm. As soon as somebody starts asking buying questions, then mm-hmm. that's when I go right to somebody, and I do my best to display, like through just connecting, but I don't do too much of the integration. That whenever it gets to that point where they're asking the buying questions, it's pretty much first or second call. I'll go right to somebody to answer their questions, to demonstrate that I didn't have to do that.
Exactly. Perfect.
It's absolutely powerful to use that process, the 3-way. And if you want to know how, we have that training too.
Yes.
And if you haven't gone through it, why not?
Why not?
Why not?
So the other question here is, when someone opts into your capture page with their email and phone number, how long do you wait? Well, if I see it come in, I'm going to call them right away.
Right while the iron is hot.
Yeah.
So the sooner the better. For sure, within 24 to 48 hours, they're cooling off already. 2 days later, they might forget the webpage. So it's really important to stay on top of that. Your follow-up calls should be like on the top of your to-do list every single day, whether you make 5, 10, 20, I'll make 60 in a day, because they're important.
And can I jump in quickly?
Please,
can I just jump in? Somebody once said to me when I was first learning the business is that no doesn't mean no necessarily. What it means is not now. And the question is, how soon do you follow up with people? This just in. I'm reading this from the chat room right now. It's from John in the Ozarks. John is a 30-year veteran. You hear him on the calls. Yep. John said this: I had a new opt-in tonight in my AMP sales funnel. I called them about 30 minutes later just to introduce myself. They were blown away that I called them. We had a great conversation, and she told me that she would do steps 1, 2, and 3. People who opt in love, uppercase LOVE, they love it when a real human being reaches out to follow up. Like right now, 30 minutes. Congratulations, John. And you know, success with clues. Here's a 30-year veteran of our industry is leaving us a clue. A guy who knows as much as anybody here is telling us, I call him right away. See?
Yeah.
I just texted Lee just now. That's how fast I like to do it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Ray, over to you.
All right. Hey.
Ray.
This is good stuff, right? I love this. I love the subject because, you know, I used to get stuck in follow-up. I would follow up and follow up and follow up and follow up. But I learned that, you know, it's exhausting when you're trying to chase somebody who is cooled off. They're just not interested. So what I ended up doing was, you know, the cool thing to keep my iron hot and what I do with follow-up is that I'm learning to meet new people on a daily basis where they want the information. And that makes me go, yes, which drives me to be able to go into follow-up with the people that are already there. So that kind of greases my wheel, so to speak, to really get me rolling on my track. And that's been an ongoing thing now for the last few weeks, and I'm excited about it because it does make the difference inside of your emotional state when you're doing your business and to keep that momentum up in your business. So I seek to do at least 3 to 5 new people that I talk to, and then follow up with the people that are already inside of my either funnel or I've talked to at one point in time. And what was really cool, just to give you an example, is that I've heard this over and over again, and what John has put up there. When I've called, whether they filled out a callback request form or not, I've called people up. And I've heard over and over and over again, the same message is, wow, you called me back. That's it. That's what they say. Wow, you called me back. And which I would be like, well, why wouldn't anybody call you back? You know, to me, it wasn't registering. You know, they were like, no, people don't usually call. And I was like, all right, well, I do, you know, I will, you know, if somebody else wants to let you go, I won't, you know, I'm interested in you. So in that space, I've always felt, you know, you have the command of your own sales, is that when you're talking to somebody, you're connecting with them, and then you're able to, you're staying in that rapport all through the process. So it's basically a process that you're taking them through. And even on Monday, had a guy actually just posting on Facebook, had a guy who been friends, I don't know him personally, but he actually said, hey, Ray, I was on the call Monday night. I really liked it. You know, I don't know what it's all about. I don't know if I can do it, but would you talk to me about it? Yeah, absolutely. When's the next time we can talk? I didn't send him to the website. I didn't do nothing. I said, here's my number. Let's chat. You know, I didn't want to put him through that position. I said, let's chat. I wanted to know him first. And it's the way he came to me. So because of the way he came to me was the very way I mirrored my actions back to him. Great guy. We had a great conversation today. Actually, I had three or four great conversations today, which just shows that we are humanizing it. We do want to keep it real. We do want to keep it, you know, in a place where it is automatic, because what you're learning is that you're learning those automatic skills that make these things happen over and over and over again. So you are the system, and it becomes part of you. So it doesn't matter where you go, you know, what other thing you may ever do inside of your life. You have this system inside of you. We can't take it back. So that's the cool thing about it. And follow up is key. So.
Absolutely. Love it. What a bunch of value we've shared here tonight.
That's a good point that Ray made too, wasn't it? I mean, you can, talk to the, I've done that several, especially with social media, because they're already pretty much seeing what Ray's doing. So that's a darn good, that's like a warm market lead. That's like my friend from high school that's actually on this line. She's asked me what, you know what I mean? So it's a good, way to introduce your businesses like that, Ray. So that was really good, because that's a follow-up.
Yeah. And part of, again, I'll refer to the training and app. Part of that training is part of the whole invite, building a relationship part of the process. Part of that is listening. And so that's part of what Ray was paying attention to. He was paying attention to how that person contacted them. Make sure that when you're talking to them, whether it's on the phone or through social media, you're paying attention to what they are and then respond accordingly. Engage. It's just like a relationship. Rob referred it to, it's just like dating, right? It's like ebb and flow. You're listening and talking at the same time. Pay attention. Gregory mentioned the energy. Make sure you notice what they're doing and respond accordingly. Remember, they're people. We often say leads, prospects, all these other titles, but they're a person just like you. They have needs, they have feelings, they have struggles, adversities, and they want to win just like you. They're human. So treat them like that. And on that note, since this is just perfect timing, a perfect length, Joe, would you like to close it out for us? I'm really so grateful and honored. This is a great presentation here. Thank you very much.
I will gladly. Rob, were you going to ask a question, or are you just confirming something that you heard there? Are you cool? You're muted.
I was confirming.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I just want to put this into, let's just put a bow on this thing, right? We've heard a lot of stuff, and we're going to talk about it throughout the week. We've heard the word posture. What does posture really mean? It doesn't mean being rough or tough. It means having belief. And then we talked about, what happens when someone's not responding. Remember, a lot of people, most people are going to say no. 97% on a good day are going to say no. So that's part of what we do. But I also will say, maybe I was harsh when I said just jettison them into the Everlands. But Susan, you brought it back home. Keep them on your list. Some people, they have to hear the story many times, 8 to 12 times. And so that's communicating with your list. And I will say this, it is a crazy internet. The thing that blows me away, that I'm so impressed with, is the quality of the people and the experience they have. Okay, when I come here and I see Susan, and I have the chance to work with Rob and Tammy and Ray, and I have known Greg for, 12, 15 years, and John Breck, I'm really excited to see that people are here and they're staying here. You see, in that internet marketplace, people are hopscotching around like crazy. And we've mentioned this before with our Unstoppable Alliance. We're not really looking for business opportunity seekers. I'm not looking for a business opportunity seeker. I'm looking for a business person who's seeking a real business. The opportunity business seekers, they're frogs. They're leaping and leaping, and I'm here for 2 weeks, and I didn't make my money, and wait, somebody's starting something over here, and they run over here. It's like, wait, there's something, and that's what they do. I don't want to be involved with that stuff. This is for business people. You'll learn a skill, learn how to use the telephone, learn what the real numbers are. And you know what? If you stick around by using email and people will be blown away. I just saw Dr. B says, it took me 9 months to say yes. The fact that you're still here says more than anything that you can possibly say. You're still here, you're still representing, you're still in the Unstoppable Alliance. People will go, oh, you're still in that thing? And before you know it, it's like, whoa, this must be real. People are making a living plus. People are living large here, not making 25, 30, 45 bucks. Yeah, Rob, you're the guy that I mentioned all the time. 65,000 people in his sales organization to make 3,500 a month.
Yeah.
One person, I make 3,500 here and more.
The owner was making 75,000 though,
That's what I said to you, right? In those programs,
I should have started it myself, man.
The only people who make the dough are the people who run the programs, and that's the truth. That's why they always are shifting gears. But all right, that's it. I'm done, Susan. I went too long. Thank you very much for all that you do. For anyone who's joining us today for the first time, we reel this stuff. It plays over and over out there in the internet world. We invite you to get back with the person who told you about the Unstoppable Alliance. Get more information, make a relaxed and intelligent decision. We have yet to hit growth mode, and we are exploding And we would welcome anybody to our family who really is serious about starting a real business and making life-changing money now.
Thank you, Joe. That's the only piece I was going to add, and you filled it in. If you are already with us and you're a member, please be sure as soon as this recording comes out, send it to your list, send it to your potential partners, those humans on the other side of every one of the emails. Send it out and share it, and we'll see you next week.